Hey guys, Huskers GBR Rich here, bringing another video, and today I'm making a video on how to ride a motorcycle for the first time. This is being brought about from a lot of comments and personal messages that I've gotten from tons of people all the way across the world, just asking for some more information on how to get into motorcycles, how do we shift, how do we brake, what gear is needed, and stuff like that. So there's already a ton of videos out there like this, but I'm just going to try to put my own personal twist on, maybe throw a little bit of humor in there, and just try to get across the message of how to ride a motorcycle for the first time safely, efficiently, and all that good stuff. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. All right, so one more thing here, guys, before we get started. Some of you probably are thinking, why should I listen to this guy? Why should I listen to Huskers GBR or Rich make a video about how to ride a motorcycle for the first time? So let me just give you a little bit of background on myself. I've been riding street bikes for 3 years, dirt bikes for 2 years before that, nothing serious though. I have not ever been in an accident on a motorcycle. I've not tipped my bike over. I do not have any tickets to my name, several warnings though. I graduated the Motorcycle Safety Foundation class with nearly a perfect written score and a perfect writing score. So that is why I believe that I'm able to make a video like this and why I am a trustworthy source. So without any further ado, again, let's get into the actual video here. Alrighty guys, first things first, if you want to get into motorcycle riding or ride a motorcycle for the first time, you're going to need some gear. And let's just talk basics on gear real quick here. The more gear you wear while riding a motorcycle, the safer you are going to be. Not necessarily as far as cars hitting you, but if you do get in an accident, you're going to be a lot better off wearing gear than if you were not. In my videos, I'm kind of notorious for not wearing gear, but it's a personal choice in my mind, but I would always recommend that you wear as much gear as you can or as much gear as you're willing to take a risk with. So anyways, let's get into it here. The first part of the gear that I would definitely recommend, number one thing, is a helmet. My helmet right here is an Arai Corsair 5 Scott Russell edition. I have a review video on my channel of it if you'd like to check it out more or just see some more angles of it. My gloves, the next thing that I always wear no matter what, are just the Fox Bomber gloves in black right there. Very breathable. It's summertime here in Nebraska and we'll get up to 100 plus degrees with 80+% humidity. So very, very breathable gloves. They work great. My hands don't get sweaty at all or anything like that. Over here are my two jackets. Right here on the left is the Icon Contra jacket. It's a textile one, very, very breathable again. Has a removable liner on the inside, but this guy, as well as my other one, has the CE rated armor that goes in the elbows, shoulders, and the back. So it'll protect you very, very well if you do go down. And then over here is my other jacket, which is going to be a leather one. And this is the AGV Sport Suzuki GSXR branded one. And again, it will also have the protective CE rated pads in the elbows, shoulders, and the back piece as well. So again, normally when I ride, I always wear the helmet, I always wear the gloves, and I always wear closed-toed shoes. Those are some pretty crazy shoes, but I'm a pretty crazy guy. They're also leather. Don't wear flip-flops, don't wear Crocs, don't wear anything like that. Wear a closed-toed leather shoe at least at the bare minimum. They make racing boots and stuff like that as well if you would like, but that's the gear overview. And again, the more gear you wear, the better off you're going to be. Let's move on to the next part here now. Alrighty guys and gals, now that you got your gear all picked up and know what's going on with that type of stuff, we're going to move on to the basic parts of the motorcycle. And right here is my 2007 Suzuki GSXR 600. I'm just going to kind of hit on the big ticket items that you need to know where they're at and what they do in order to be successful riding a motorcycle. So starting on the left side over here, you're going to have your own foot peg right there and your shifter. On my bike, it's 1 down and 5 up for a total of 6 gears. Also, neutral is located between first and second gear. It's a half click up. If you're not familiar with this, you'll become very, very familiar after riding it. You need to know how to use this guy. Normally, it's 1 down and then 5 up on him, like I said. So moving up here to the controls, on the left side, you're going to have just a handlebar grip right here. You're also going to have your clutch lever right there, so you engage and disengage the clutch with that guy. Depending on your bike, you may or may not have some of these controls that I have, but on mine, I've got the light, the low beam or high beam selection right there, the hazards light as well, and my turn signals right there. And then also this yellow guy back here is just the passing lights that I'll flip the high beam up on for me for a second. Moving over to the right side here is going to be your right side handlebar, right side grip, and this guy is also going to have your throttle on. So as you can see, pulling that guy back, that's what makes you go faster on the bike. Up here is going to be your front brake lever, and if you didn't know, you actually get most of your stopping power from your front brake. So keep that in mind. I'll go into more detail later. And then the last thing that you need to know is over here, and this is going to be your right peg, and then also your rear brake control. Push down, and it applies rear brake for you. So that's it, guys. And I guess, one more thing. Your ignition right up here. That's where your key goes, and that's how you turn the bad boy on. Alrighty guys, I'm all geared up now. Got my gloves, my jacket, jeans, shoes on and stuff, and let's move on to actually getting on the motorcycle. So again, here's my GSXR. I always get on from the left side of the motorcycle. That would be the side with the kickstand down on it. This makes it easier to actually swing your leg up and over. You're not going to be kicking your tail section at all or anything like that. And then it also just gives you, with the kickstand down that side, you can easily rest the bike back down should you need to once you get on it. So I always put my left hand on the left control bar just for a grip. Just swing the leg over, body, and then go ahead and touch both your feet flat-footed if you can, or tippy toes, doesn't really matter. Sometimes you don't have a choice. And, you know, just get kind of comfortable with the bike. Go ahead and put the kickstand up on it. And now here we are. My bike is currently off. Going to turn it to on. Going to turn the bike to run, or to the on position, I guess you could say. It's going to go ahead and prime the engine. I have a gear indicator right here. Some bikes may not have that. It's really easy to tell when you start the bike. You just want to be in neutral, and you can tell if you're in neutral if you roll the bike. Like I'm rolling the bike right now and it's stopping. That's because it's engaging the transmission in the engine, and that's you know, preventing the bike from actually rotating forward like that. So, and as the gear indicator would show, I'm in gear 1, not in neutral. So I'm going to go ahead and half a click up to neutral. It's 0. A green light comes on. That's pretty standard on most bikes, and when you see that, you're good to start. Now this part, something just to be on the safe side, just in case the gear indicator was off or the green light wasn't working properly, always pull in your clutch before you start the bike. That way, should something go wrong, the engine will just rev up and you won't go anywhere, and you can easily kill it again. So again, bike is on, I am in neutral, I have the clutch pulled in, let's start the bike. And there we go. And again, the bike wasn't revving up high, I knew I was in neutral, I let out the clutch, and here we go, the bike's idling. If you're doing a cold start on the bike, you're going to want to let it warm up before you actually try to ride it around at all or anything like that. My bike is currently at 167 degrees Fahrenheit, so I rode it over here, so it's kind of warmed up from that already. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump in to the next part of the video, which is going to be the basic maneuvers and learning the clutch. Alrighty guys, we're back here. Bike started, it's warmed up, we're ready to go. And the very first thing when you get on a new bike, or if you're new to riding, is you want to find where the clutch engages the transmission at, or where it starts to actually start to move forward on you. So right now I just put the bike into first gear. It wasn't neutral, I pushed down once on the shifter while holding the clutch in. And now I'm just going to kind of let the clutch out and see the bike is rolling like that. I'm not giving it any throttle. The bike's just rolling by itself with that. And I can feel the engine like when the RPMs want to drop. You can see it go drop down a little bit. And keep in mind, that again was no throttle whatsoever. So I know that the bike starts to engage, or the clutch starts to disengage about, half an inch out from completely closed. So once you kind of get that down and stuff like that, and a real easy way to kind of, ingrain it into your skull where that's at is just like go across a parking lot or so, just moving the clutch out very slowly like that, and put your feet down, and always have your hand on the front brake if you need to. And should the bike ever do anything you don't want it to do, always pull in the clutch and apply front brake. That way the engine will stop sending power to the transmission. That'll stop your forward progress or your forward movement. And then applying the front brake will slow you down from whatever speed that you were going as well. So just keep that in mind. Alrighty guys, real quick here, I want to show you what will happen if you let out the clutch too quickly. So again, I'm stopped, I'm in neutral right now. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into first, and there it goes. And if you let out the clutch too fast, like here's the sweet spot again, I'm letting the clutch out and I'm starting to roll forward, there's the sweet spot, that's where it's engaging. If I let it out too fast, the bike's gonna die, like that. And that's nothing to be worried about. It doesn't hurt the bike necessarily at all, and it happens to everybody. If somebody told you they've never killed their motorcycle or the engine in a manual transmission car or on a motorcycle, they're definitely lying to you. So that's not a big deal at all. We're just gonna go ahead and pull the clutch back in, put it back into neutral, and start the bike right back up. To show you what you can also do if you're very, very smooth with the clutch release. You can actually get the bike rolling without applying any throttle. So here we go. There's the sweet spot, it's starting to come up. It's really coming up. I'm just letting it out very, very slowly. And there you go. Same thing that More Death did. I am not applying, look, no throttle. Here's my hand, no throttle. And the bike is moving in first gear. So if you have a smooth enough clutch release, you can actually get the bike going without even having to apply throttle. It's that easy. And the bike's not going fast, it's holding steady at 6 miles an hour. So there you go. Something to maybe strive for. Maybe one of you guys can leave a video response for yourself doing that.
moving on here, so I got that down and everything, and again, you know, go back and forth on a parking lot if you need more to get it down more or something like that. But once you know that sweet spot, apply a little bit of throttle to it, just a little bit. So I might take it up to 2,000 when it hits that point. So letting out the clutch, bringing up the RPMs, and we're good, just like that. So the bike, with that, I gave it a little bit throttle. I went a little bit faster, as you obviously could tell. And that's the way that you're gonna take off with the bike when you're actually starting it and stuff like that. And this guy probably has no idea what the hell I'm doing, but that's all right. I'm not doing anything wrong. It's the church I go to. So anyways, again, just find that sweet spot on the clutch where it starts to disengage, and then when you know where that spot's at, apply a little bit of throttle at the same time. And now we're off and running. And all I did was I completely let the clutch go out, applied a little bit more throttle, and now I'm just rolling in first gear. And again, since if I want to stop the bike or come to a slowdown, I'm going to pull in the clutch and apply front brake, and we're going to come all the way back down to 0 miles an hour. And something that you might want to do when you're first starting off is you can have both feet, you know, come down off the bike at slow speed so that you can catch yourself when you actually stop. Sometimes you can lose your balance, especially if the surface is uneven or anything like that. So keep that in mind as well. But anyways, that's kind of it. Again, to show you, just kind of letting out the clutch, applying a little bit of throttle, and we are off and rolling now. So the next thing we're going to do is shifting on the motorcycle, and this is something that a lot of people kind of get scared about, but there's no need to be scared at all about shifting. It's actually very, very, very straightforward and very easy to do. And the way that we're actually going to shift is very straightforward. Once you got the bike rolling and everything, again, all you're going to do, I'm going to put the bike back in neutral since I'm stopped here. So you're rolling in first gear. When you want to shift up, which can be, you know, on my bike, it starts off at 0 and goes all the way up to 16,000. I normally shift between 6 to 4,000. You know, anywhere where you're comfortable or when you think you need to change gear, all you're going to do is going to kill the throttle, pull in the clutch, shift up on your gear lever, and then go ahead and let out the clutch and reapply throttle. Very straightforward. I'll show you again here. So here's the takeoff. Finding that sweet spot, giving it a little bit of throttle so the engine doesn't actually die. And there we go, we're rolling in first gear. I'm gonna move over here to the actual road. So I'm going to kill the throttle, pull in the clutch, shift up in a second, let out the clutch, and apply throttle again. And that's as easy as that. And you just keep repeating that process as many times as you need to in order to get through all your gears or get to the desired speed that you want to. But when you're first learning out, don't worry about going up into 6th gear. You know, the higher in the gears you get, the faster you need to be going to keep the engine in its power band and have enough power so the engine doesn't die in a corner or anything like that. Alrighty guys, second to last thing I want to show you here is turning a motorcycle. And something very important to keep in mind while turning a motorcycle is to look through your corner. Like right here, let's say I wanted to turn left. I don't want to look like right in front of the bike where the bike's going. I want to have my head turned all the way over there and look past the apex of the corner to where I want to end up. So just keep that in mind every time you're turning a motorcycle. And at low speeds of 10 miles an hour or less, all you do to turn the bike, if you want to go left, just push the handlebars to the left. Under 10 miles an hour and you want to go right, push the handlebars to the right. Very easy, very straightforward. Now then, let me go ahead and give you an actual example of that. So we're going to get started just like I showed you earlier. And we're going to go left. So I'm just going to move the bike, the handlebars to the left. So here's left again, handlebars to the left. There they go, there they go, there they go. Right, handlebars are going to the right. To the left, handlebars are going to the left again. Now then, let me show you what you need to do when you actually are going faster than 10 miles an hour. This is going to sound like kind of a foreign concept, but it's still very, very easy to understand and to know what to do when you're actually on the bike. This is something that, don't worry about it right now. If you're just sitting at home on the computer and thinking about getting a bike, do not worry about this at all. It'll be very, very easy to learn once you're actually on a bike, and it's kind of hard to explain otherwise. And I'll leave a link to a video right here of when I did this in depth on, but it's called counter steering. If I'm going faster than 10 miles an hour, and I want to go to the left, I'm actually going to push or pull the handlebars to the right. And that might sound weird, but what that's going to do is that's going to transfer the weight of the bike over to the opposite side that you're pushing or pulling the handlebars, and then cause the bike to lean in that direction, and it's just going to set you up for that corner. So up here, let me show you here. If I want to go left, look, I'm going to push to the right, and the bike falls over like that. And it's just, again, a way to initiate the corner. So let me get back through here and get to another open spot, and I'll show you again. And this is something for here. So again, I want to go, let's say I want to go to the right. I'm actually going to push the handlebars to the left. Did you see that? I pushed it to the left, but the bike actually fell to the right, and I started to go right. The wheel kind of automatically came back over for me. So let me show you that again. And I do that, so I'm going 14. I actually did it just a little bit to initiate that corner. And again, it's just something that makes the bike a lot easier to control. And let's say you're going through a corner and you need to further your lean angle or turn in tighter, you're going to counter steer again. So if you're going left and need to go tighter left, if you need to make a tighter corner, you're actually going to counter steer again, like pull the bars to the right or push them to the right, and that'll cause the bike to fall over to the other side and lean in even tighter for you. But again, just keep in mind that's just a way to initiate the corner, and that's really it. So that's it for this part, guys. And now we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be braking on a motorcycle. Alrighty, guys. So now we're going to start the braking part of this video, and motorcycle braking is very easy. Again, front brake lever over here on the right, and my rear brake lever is right down there. It's a foot peg. You push it down and it applies rear brake for you. You're going to get most of your front braking, or your braking, overall braking power from your front brake. I think it's actually 60 or 70% of your total braking power comes from your front brake alone. So don't rely only on the rear brake. You're going to need to use front brake. And what I normally do is get going again, and when I need to slow down, depending on how fast you're going, you're going to want to pull in the clutch and then just apply a small amount of front brake, and it doesn't hurt to just cover the rear brake lever at all either. So when I say cover the rear brake lever, all I mean is just rest your foot on top of it and just kind of let it push the lever down just slightly. So again, I'm going to pull in the clutch, apply front brake, and we're going to come down to a stop, just like that. I stuck my left foot out to catch me, and my right foot is still actually on the brake pedal down there, along with my hand on the front brake, and I still have the clutch pulled in, and I'm in first gear, just to kind of give you an overview of everything that happened there. So let's get going again here. And what you want to try to avoid, and when you're braking, you got to understand that all the weight's going to be transferred to the front. So if you apply hard front brake, and you apply hard rear brake, your rear tire is going to lock up and can start to slide out on you. And you want to avoid that. That's not something good that's going to happen. You want to avoid any of your tires. It's better to have your rear lock up than your front. Your front can become very, very messy if you lock it up. But if you lock up your rear tire on your bike, don't worry about it. Just keep it locked until you come to a complete stop, and then you can release the brake pedal. You don't want to unrelease the tire. Like if it's locked up, you don't want to let off the brake, because what will actually happen is that the bike can catch traction again, and it might actually cause the bike to jump or to hop on you. Now then, if you lock up your front tire, which I have never done, and you'd have to apply some crazy hard front brake pressure to it, if that happens, let off the front brake. You do not want your front brake or your front tire to be skidding on you. That's what you want to avoid at all costs. So if your front brake your front tire does lock up and starts to slide, let off slightly on your front brake so you can regain control and be able to steer your bike and all of that stuff. Alrighty, guys, so this has been Huskers GBR and my how to ride a motorcycle for the very first time video. I showed you firstly what gear and how to pick out your gear and stuff like that. I showed you the basic parts of a motorcycle, how to get on the motorcycle, start your motorcycle, get the motorcycle rolling, shift the motorcycle, and then lastly, I showed you how to brake and stop a motorcycle. So again, this has been Huskers GBR. Rich, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Show the video a little bit of love, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and we'll see all you guys later. Ride safe now and take it easy.